Joining us today is Steve Mill, Department of Infrastructure and Planning, Queensland, and Freya Walton, Director of Social Impact Assessment, Department of Infrastructure and Planning, Queensland, who will be speaking at IIR's EIS for Resources Projects 2010, which takes place on the 24th to 25th of August in Brisbane. Hello, Steve and Freya. Thanks, both of you, for joining us.
Morning, James.
Hello, James.
First of all, can you explain what a social impact management plan is and how it works in conjunction with an EIS?
The social impact management plans have been introduced to provide a framework for resource proponents to identify the key impacts associated with their project and the mitigation strategies that they intend to implement to address those impacts, and also the strategies they intend to implement to support the positive benefits identified through the EIS process.
How will social impact management plans benefit the resources industry in Queensland?
Well, it actually provides a formal framework for proponents to engage with key stakeholders throughout the life of the project. It formalises stakeholder engagement strategies. It provides a transparency around what the proponent tends to do in conjunction with other stakeholders to address key issues, including government, local authorities, community groups and any others that are directly affected by the project. So it provides a framework, and I think that's probably the key benefit, that all the parties involved in the project have a roadmap, if you like, on the way forward on how things are actually going, what are the key issues and how they're going to be addressed throughout the life cycle of the project.
What are your plans for the development of the SRC policy?
Well, the SRC policy, which was introduced in 2008 by the Queensland Government, is actually led by a different department than our department. It's led by what's known as DD, Employment, Economic Development and Innovation. They have that role within the government to lead it, but our department, Infrastructure and Planning, has responsibility for some key deliverables under that project. That is the strengthening of social impact assessment through the introduction of a unit within the department to provide a closer engagement with proponents and other stakeholders around social impact assessment, and to introduce a guideline which supports that process for social impact management plans, to develop a major projects housing policy, and then to develop legislative amendments to actually make the requirement for social impact management plans mandatory. So they're our key deliverables. In terms of our priorities at the moment, we have a commitment to finalise a guideline to support the development of social impact management plans by 30 July this year. We've also developed a draft major projects housing policy, which is currently undergoing some consultation with key stakeholders, and it's anticipated that we'll have a fairly final version of that document by the end of this year also, and the development of the legislative amendments to affect the mandatory requirement for social impact management plans by the end of this year, with perhaps implementation in 2011. So they're our key objectives. The other department is responsible for supporting the partnership group, which is established under the policy. That's the formal partnership between the Queensland Government, the Queensland Resources Council and the Local Government Association of Queensland, and the development of local engagement mechanisms, which are known as local leadership groups. They're currently chaired by mayors in the Surat Basin, the Bowen Basin and northwest Queensland. And I'm sure that agency would be more than happy to add any more detail to the role that they play in that policy implementation process.
James, I just would like to add to that. At the moment, the social impact management plans are voluntary, as Freya said, there is a plan to legislate for their introduction and be required as part of the EIS process. But until that's done, they are voluntary, and a number of proponents who are coming through the door at this time are preparing social impact management plans on the basis of them being good corporate citizens and seeing this as the future way to go. And you will see on our departmental website a number of examples of plans that have been prepared as part of the recent EISs. Environmental impact statements that have been delivered, and also as part of the Coordinator General's reports, the recent ones that have been recommended by the Coordinator General.
You're speaking at IIR's EIS for Resources Projects Conference 2010, which takes place on the 24th to 25th of August in Brisbane. What will you be discussing in presentations?
What I'll focus on in terms of the social impact management plans is the guideline that we've developed. I'm anticipating that we will have a final version of that guideline by the 30th of July. So I'd really like to focus on the guideline because that provides the detail about the purpose of social impact management plans, roles and responsibilities, and the actual detailed content of them. So that's what I'll be focusing on.
And James, my presentation will be focusing on a bit of a status report of the environmental impact statement processes over the recent 12 or so months. There has been some changes and new policies that have come to the fore in that period, and it's my intention to discuss a number of those. I mean, Freya is going to be dealing with the social impact assessment in some detail, but there are others that have come forward, as you would appreciate, particularly with the new liquefied natural gas industry that's evolved in Queensland of recent times. There's a number of policy frameworks around that have been developed. There's also a new air quality policy that has been developed, as well as how we're going to address greenhouse gases in the environmental impact statement processes into the future. So there are a few of the things that we'll be discussing at that conference.
And finally, what are the key benefits of speaking at an event such as this?
Look, from my point of view, I think the key benefit is getting contact with our stakeholders, and I use that in the broadest sense. Our stakeholders are not only the proponents who bring to us their projects, but more often those proponents employ a large number of consultants who do all the work for the EIS that's required, and it's our intention to engage with those consultants who might actually work over time for a number of proponents. So it's very important for us to get our most recent messages and methodologies known, not only to the proponents but also to the consultants that are doing the work for them.
I suppose from my perspective, I'll support what Steve said. It is about engaging with stakeholders. The social impact management plan area is new. Certainly the implementation will evolve over time, and we're going to work closely with our key stakeholders around implementation issues, and I suppose because it's new, it provides an opportunity to build some awareness and understanding amongst people who may not have been dealing with us closely while we've been going through the early development phase, and it also provides an opportunity, I suppose, for those who have to share their key issues or questions with us through the panel process.
James, I'd just like to say not only the opportunity to take questions as we progress our talks, but I think the panel discussion on the second day will provide a good opportunity for proponents and consultants to discuss and ask a further range of questions, and for us to be involved in that process, to hear their thoughts on what they're coming across as part of the EIS process and the preparation of these very substantial reports, not only for us but these reports are also required under Commonwealth legislation as well. So that panel discussion period, I think, will be a great opportunity for us to air a whole range of matters that are probably on people's minds.
Steve Mill and Freya Walton, many thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.